Hello, welcome to Reely Rated, the movie review podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Stevens.
And I'm your co-host, Jess Andrews. And today we are doing Midsommar. It is a 2019 psychological horror film directed by Aster. And I was wondering, Mitch, have we done Hereditary
No.
before on the podcast?
No, I think it was on...
Because in my mind we had.
Yeah, I think it was on one of our lists for our top... Do you remember we did our top 10 horror films?
Yes, that will be why it's in my head.
And we've got to do that another time. We should do another top 10, like maybe top 10 rom-coms or something.
Oh, yes, let's do that. Watch this space.
Yeah, watch this space. So, yeah.
This is our first Ari Aster review.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'm quite happy we're starting with Midsommar, just because I watched it today, and it was only the second time I've watched it. And...
Me too.
There's something about it that just makes me... This is going to sound really morbid. It brings me joy.
No, you know what? It does me as well. I had just had a thought, and if we were still in school, well, uni, and writing an essay about this, I would say it is literally like an allegory for therapy. Because you go into it and everything feels so uncomfortable, and you're not held, and you're just like flailing, and everything's awful, and it's dark. And then as you go through it and you start to actually express your emotions and what's the word, like catharsis?
Yeah, catharsis.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. By the end of it, it's like we'll get to the end, but to me it's very much about like trauma, and well, obviously it's about trauma, but it's about that really, like, in the first act, to me is like that tight feeling in your chest before you find the strength to talk about your vulnerabilities and your traumas, and that kind of horrible insecurity that Danny feels, and I feel like we feel. And it was very interesting because when I first watched it, I don't think I watched it in the cinema. I think I watched it on streaming a while ago. And because we didn't watch it together, did we?
No.
So when I first watched it, it was just like on a regular like TV or whatever. But when I watched it yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, it was last night, I had my earbuds in, and it changed the experience for me a bit, because the sound design was so prevalent with it being like right in my ears, you know?
Yeah.
And even like, yeah, the first sort of 15 minutes especially, it put my teeth on edge. Like, I was literally just like, oh, I feel so uncomfortable, like in every single scene, like not just the scary scenes like with the family, but when she's with Christian and with his friends, and they don't like her, and they treat her like shit, and he treats her like shit. She's going through like the worst thing ever, and she's not held, as Pele would say.
Yeah.
So it really just puts you in this horrible space where you're just not comfortable at all. You don't feel safe from the offset. And as the film goes on, it's got this really weird thing where as it gets more horrifying, the less horrified you feel. Does that make sense?
Going back to the catharsis that you mentioned, I think it's because at the beginning you're not held, you're not like sort of like told that it's going to be okay until you get to the commune, and they're so welcoming, and the way that the commune sort of like, and the cult I should call them, the way the cult sort of like shows their emotions, they wear it on their like chest, like they're all touchy feely, they mimic Danny's emotions when she's like crying, to make themselves feel what she's feeling. It's almost like they're like, well, no, they literally are holding her physically and emotionally, And
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it's
Empathise.
yeah. I think it's because you start seeing what it's like, because we followed Danny, who like you said, like the friends and Christian do not really show her any sort of sympathy or empathy,
Understanding.
yeah, apart from Pele. But then he's part of the cult, so like when we start seeing the cult are sort of like empathizing with her and sort of, and also sort of opening her eyes up to the fact that she's got a shitty boyfriend. It's almost like they planned the really uncomfortable sex scene for Danny to see.
Oh yeah, 100% they did.
Yeah.
But weirdly though, I will say something that struck me. I don't know what that's about. Is that the first time I watched it, I remember him like being a lot worse. And don't get me wrong, he's awful in the second time watching it. But I did feel like I empathised a little bit weirdly more with him this time. I don't know, maybe just because I knew what was coming for him, if that makes sense. But he was awful. Because when I watched it the first time, and I'm assuming everybody has watched the film, so I won't be doing spoilers.
Yeah.
But when he dies at the end in the first one, I can remember being like, yeah, fuck him, like, you know, I was like completely like, it was a catharsis of like, yeah, he's dead, yeah, ha, ha, sort of thing. But in this time, it was like, I don't know, more of a sadness at the end. Like, I don't know how to describe it really. It was a bit like, I feel happy for her, which you shouldn't really do. But also kind of like, shit, like, this is what happens when you don't love your partner. I don't know.
Watching it the first time, I didn't pick up on the fact that he's been looking to get out of this relationship for nearly like over a year now, and he just hasn't pulled the trigger. So the fact that because then the suicide happens, and he's kind of like stuck in this relationship and he doesn't know how to get out of it. And
yeah, because he's a coward, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, is that when you watch it the second time, well, when I watched it the second time anyway, I think that's actually you've hit a nail on the head. Is that like, because you see him for, you're not focusing so much on the fact that he's just a wanker. You're focusing on the fact that he's just this weak man. You know, he steals his friend's ideas. He doesn't have the guts to tell her that he doesn't want to be with her. He tags along with all his friends and listens to everything they say. He doesn't have he's a bit of a himbo.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the strength to be there for her, you know, in her time of complete crisis. So really, you just look at him as this really weak person. And when he is actually incapacitated at the end, you just think, well, yeah, this is what you're like. You just let everything happen to you.
Yeah, like,
you're not strong.
Him stealing his friend's thesis did not get me until today. Like, the fact, I think it just went over my head the first time, but like watching it today, I was just like, oh, that is a low blow. Like,
yeah,
to do to a friend. And the fact that because then you hear at the beginning, like, he's stuck on a thesis, he doesn't know what to do. And so for him to like arrive at this place and then be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do it about this place.
Oh, we can both do it. And it's like, and on the one hand, you sort of think, well, you know, maybe Josh can just get over it. But then you sort of think, if Christian was a character that was intellectual and had a bit of, you know, motivation with his academia, then you could probably be like, okay, he's found his spark, he's really interested in it, blah, blah, blah. But all you get is this really lazy thing of his, like, oh, well, I'm here and I can leech off of, I think Josh uses the word leechy. You know, this, like, I can leech off all your work and just basically write down what I see here. rather than it being an actual interest for him. And it's sort of like his relationship with Danny, isn't it? Like, he's not actually interested in her. It's a convenience. He can't break up with her. Well, he won't break up with her.
Yeah.
He's just lazy.
Because he literally says at the beginning, "Oh, but what if what if I change my mind?" And it's like,
yeah.
So you can turn your emotions off that freely.
You just want to shake him, don't you? And be like, be a man, make a decision. Like, okay. Yeah. And the thing is, as well, is that I do understand that there is that kind of conundrum of like, okay, I wanted to break up with someone, but then this awful thing happened, and now I feel like I can't. You know, like how people sort of like people get sick, and they're like, well, I can't leave them because they're ill, sort of thing, because that makes you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the same, because the friends say to Christian before this murder suicide, they say to him like, "Oh, you've wanted to get out of this relationship for like a year and a half." So this isn't like a new thing that he's wanting to break up with her. This has been going on for a long time.
Yeah, and I can also give like his friends like leeway, because if they've had to listen to him bitch and moan about this relationship,
bitch about her.
You'd almost resent the other person as well, because you'll be like, well, I've heard so much bad things about you and the way you are. Like, is it Mark who Will Porter? Yeah, like I don't feel sorry for him, but I feel like his reaction to both Danny and to Christian is really realistic. Like, you would be like fed up at this point. Like, I've heard about this for so long. It's like, just leave.
Yeah, you obviously don't make each other happy.
No.
And you have to remember as well that people like Christian probably be bending the truth and making her sound bad.
Yeah.
All the time, even if she's not. I mean, we don't really get a huge insight into what their relationship was like before everything. So we sort of don't know what Danny was like beforehand. But you sort of get a vibe that she's been trying hard with him for a long time. Like, he's this like jock bro, and she's like kind of a bit enamored with him.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I don't know why. Something I thought was really cool, and we'll get onto it in a minute, though, is did you notice that in the beginning of the film, his eyes are like really, really sort of, they're in shadow a lot, and he's sort of squinting a lot. You know, like you don't really see his eyes at all, really. And I didn't actually notice this until the end, when I swear to God they were using CGI to like make his eyes bigger. Did you notice that his eyes go really big at the end?
Yeah.
I don't just mean like when he's high, but like as the film goes on, his eyes get bigger. And I'm assuming that's a directorial choice or cinematographer choice, or whoever makes the decisions with these things. I'm just assuming the director. I think that is a choice. I think that's him opening his eyes to like how bad he has been.
Yeah.
But by the time he does, he's powerless to do anything about it.
And the situation as well.
He's so closed off. Yeah, like he's so closed off from her. And he doesn't know how to empathise. But then when he goes through his own trauma, like when he's been, I mean, let's say what he's raped, because he is. You know, he's date raped or drug raped or whatever the expression is. That's when he starts to kind of, I think that is when you sort of see that kind of potential for him to actually empathise with Danny. But by then it's too late. And that's like really sad.
Do you know what? You could be onto something here, because like with the CGI, maybe they did, or maybe he just sort of like opened his eyes really wide, like later on. But like, because I didn't notice when she has the crown of flowers on her head, like they start pulsating.
Yeah.
Like I didn't pick up on it last time, but like this time I picked up on it, and yeah. So I think you're right, because he's certainly, and his head is always down at the beginning as well. Like when
and then suddenly he's always looking up.
Yeah.
I think actually it's very interesting you talk about the pulsing flowers and stuff, because I was watching it on my phone like really close up last night. I was noticing there's absolutely tons of CGI sort of enhancement throughout the film. Like, in pretty much every single shot, there's something that looks a little bit off. Like, even in certain things, like the bit where they're doing the May Queen dance and everyone's sat there with the, you know, they do like the jazz hands
Yeah.
all together. Some of them, their hands like blur and others don't and stuff like that.
Ah.
Like there's so many things if you watch it that is like really, really clever choices. And I thought, wow, I'd love to watch it again, like pick them all out and stuff. But I think a lot of it is to do with it's the intention, I think, to make the audience feel like they're going a bit crazy. Like Danny felt.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised because there's one moment in the film where when Danny's being carried on that platform, there's a shot of her with trees in the background, and some of the trees make up Terry's face, you know, her sister.
When I first watched that, I didn't notice that, you know.
Yeah.
But then the second time, because I knew it was there to look for it, I could see it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it the first time. So it's and you know what's weird as well is that I had it in my head that, you know, when Christian finds Simon in the barn, in my memory he's moving, but when I watched it this time he wasn't.
He is moving because the lungs which are pulled out the back of his back are still breathing.
Oh, are they? Oh, I thought it looked still when I was looking last night. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to watch it again.
So he's still dying at that point, which is tragic. But you know the bit where Christian puts his head underneath Simon's? I had a Mandela effect of remembering that he goes, ah.
Yes! Oh my God, me too.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a jump scare.
Yeah.
But that's amazing though, isn't it? Because in fairness, I can't think of any jump scares in the film apart from the bit in the mirror behind her when she goes in the hut.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she turns the lights on and off. That's the only bit that I can think of that was a bit of a jump scare. And even that's not really a jump scare.
No, and because even the bit with Josh, you know, when he's looking through the book, the sacred Bible, with his camera, you actually see the person behind him anyway in the reflection of the window or the mirror, wherever it is. So that's not even a jump scare. You see it coming, and then he turns and sees him. So, but it's funny how eerie that Ari Aster makes everything, though.
I think a lot of it is in the sound design. Like, there's a lot of silence in it as well, and because I mean, I'm sure you noticed as well that the music is all diegetic. So when it's all played by a band, and then when it stops, the band stops. I thought that was such a clever, because it really pulls you in to that thing of like that you're there. There's no like other soundtrack over the top. And even when you can't see the band, you're aware that the band is probably playing in that scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in the commune. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because like when they first arrive, there's this really joyful music, and you're like, you don't know it's a band until like it sort of pans, and you see the band playing, and you're like,
all that sort of stuff is so clever because it just gets you completely into this like weird, eerie, like surreal world. And I think the fact that it's in the daytime as well is something that I wrote down that is really quite novel. But I'm trying to think of any other films that are sort of predominantly daytime scary. I think It Follows has quite a lot of daytime, but it's not all daytime.
yeah.
But this is all daytime pretty much, isn't it? Apart from, I think, they have a couple of hours of dark where she has the dream where she thinks they've left without her.
Because if you compare it with...
That's basically it.
Yeah, because if you compare it with Hereditary, like...
It's all dark.
Yeah, like all the creepy stuff happens at night, and the only time... And even when it's like daytime, it's all overcast. So it's all like dark anyway. But the one thing I did notice was the like... It's just a little thing that Ari Aster has done with both of these horror films, is that they both get crowned at the end, the main characters.
Oh, yeah!
And I really enjoy that.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that. Oh, that's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and I really want him to carry this on in his like next horror film when he gets around to doing it.
Yeah, no, I hadn't noticed that, to be fair, but the crowning thing though is so interesting because, like, when you look, I think the reason why at the end it's kind of is controversial, the word, I don't know, but the reason I think why everyone talks about the ending of Midsommar is because, like, all this horrifying stuff happens. Like, these people have died, and okay, like, a lot of them are people that have wronged Danny, but she's also witnessing deaths of people that, you know, didn't do anything to her. Connie and Simon and some of the communists, commune people.
Yeah. Communists.
So you'd think it'd be a really horrifying thing, and she's kind of in the middle of nowhere. She's got no way to get home. She's, you know, but I think the point is that she does feel home. She's lost her family. She doesn't seem to have any other friends. She calls Christian every time that she's got a crisis, and she, you know, other friends are never mentioned.
Because if you go back to when she arrives at the Christian's apartment, the guy's apartment, and then Christian quickly says to them, "Oh, by the way, I've invited her on this trip, but she's not going to come. She's not going to come. Don't worry."
Yeah.
There's a point where Christian and Mark leave, and then Josh excuses himself, and she's left with Pele. Because if you look back at it now, for me, it's a really eerie moment, because in that discussion, I think she makes her mind up that she's going to go, because Pele's kind of like, you know, oh, this is my home, like, you know, oh, by the way, I'm really sorry. I haven't had the chance to say how sorry I am about your losing your family and that sort of thing. And I think in that moment of kindness is when she decides that she's going to go to Sweden and if you sort of like reference the parts where they talk about incest and they talk about how they got to get people from the outside.
Yeah.
I really think that Pele has marked her as someone that could join them.
Oh, 100%. He's got intentions on her, hasn't he?
Definitely. And it wasn't until...
Well, he kisses her at the end as well, doesn't
Yeah, and I did watch a video on YouTube that said that, like, there's a lot of, like, coding to the fact that, like, they're going to end up together. Which I don't see, because I see her getting catharsis at the end, but I don't know if I 100% believe that she's going to stay with them.
I think she will. I think she's been so broken down. I mean, it is kind of a, you know, for better or worse, a bit of a comment on cults, isn't it? Is that they go for people that are lost and broken down, and they say, "Come to us, be our family." That's literally how cults groom people to join them.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And it's a weird one. I think it's a really, really... I love films. I love horror films, especially like this, where you don't really know how you feel about it, because on the one hand, you're sort of going, this is clearly a cult. You know, they murder each other and they do all these weird things and they rape and it's incest, all sorts. And it's not okay from a moral from a Western moral code. But then you almost get... I feel like it almost grooms the audience, if I'm honest, because, you know, you watch that first the Atriu of whatever the ceremony, the death ceremony is. When you first watch it, it's like, it's horrifying. It's like, oh my god, what am I watching? But then when they're kind of explaining it to the Americans and to Connie and Simon, you kind of go, well, yeah, I mean, we do put our elderly in care homes and leave them. That's pretty horrifying for the person. Getting old and sick and immobile is scary. I don't know that I'd want to jump off a cliff, but I certainly can see the appeal in the having control of your own demise and not being a burden on your community, and, you know, I mean, that they have that religious element where they, you know, back in the circle of life, whatever they call it. So I it's kind of, it's horrifying, but at the same time you sort of go, oh, but a different perspective makes it not horrifying.
It's going to sound crazy, but they don't seem to cross the line. Like, because if you think about it, like, there's that point where Christian's talking to the elder lady, the leader, and he says, she marks out the fact that, like, oh, by the way, this girl, I can't remember her name, but has like singled you out, has chosen you to be her lover. I mean, apart from the fact we don't see what he says, we don't see if he turns them down or if he sort of says yes. So, but you're right, there is an implied rape there, like the fact that like he's totally drugged and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like you could look at it from a different perspective and be like, well, he might have agreed to it, just not in that way.
I see what you're saying, because he is like a bro who probably would have done, he had no, I mean, we could tell he had absolutely no loyalties towards Danny.
No.
But I think the point that I'm trying to make is just that they have like stripped him of his autonomy.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, yeah, so maybe that is going too far.
It's well, no, but I see what you're saying, is that like they're obviously using a person who has no morals in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think in fairness, it was quite interesting because when I first watched it, I remember laughing at the scene when the lady was like massaging his bum and all this. And I was reading some commentary on it, and it was like, oh, some people were laughing like it was funny, but he was being raped, it's not funny, and da-da-da. And I was like, oh my god, you're right, like it's not funny. It was just the visual of her like massaging his bum that was making me laugh. But I thought, why is it that I am laughing? Because I feel like if it was happening to a woman, if it was happening to Danny and it was all men around her doing this, I would not be laughing.
No, but this is the thing. It's Ari Aster. Like, he puts you in positions where, like, you have to question, like, what you're seeing, basically. He puts you in a position of, like, spectating a rape. And because it's a rape of a man...
And because the man is not a nice man.
Exactly, yeah. He's taking that taboo and he's asking you to watch it and then to, like, react to it.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, like, you align yourself with Danny, who you do feel sympathy for in the first place, because, like, obviously she's been through so much and he's abusive to her. And actually, something that I thought was really interesting was the way that I think it was Mark says it's abusive, she's abusing you. And I thought that was such an interesting line, because it was like, okay, is that meant to tell us that he is lying about what she's like, and he's saying, oh, she controls me, she's stalking me, blah, 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 or is he just extremely ignorant?
I think he also is very misinformed about, like, the bipolar that her sister is suffering with, because the way he says to her, oh, she's using the bipolar to, control you. If he can think that about Terry, then it's easy for him to think that about his own girlfriend.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is interesting, though, because if you see it from Mark's point of view, his friend is being controlled by, this girl who keeps on crying all the time and, well, from his point of view, using emotions to, like, get what she wants. Whereas we see it as in it's her breaking down, because, like, having panic attacks and trying to... Like, for us, we know it's genuine, but from other people's perspective, like, from the outside, especially if you're a bit harsh, if you're a bit cold-hearted, which I think Mark is.
In fairness, it's something that I thought was really... And you see this in Hereditary as well, is that grief is, like, obviously explored. And when the characters are, like, like, processing their grief, it is almost like... It always reminds me, like, the screaming and the moaning... It just makes me think of giving birth.
Yeah.
Like when Danny was like moaning and wailing, all I could think was, that's exactly what I sounded like when I was giving birth. That absolutely undescribable pain. And I would not be surprised if he said to them, imagine you're giving birth. And then, because you see the difference between in the first act, when she's crying on Christian's lap, and he's literally just sat there like a stone, just not saying anything. He's not even he doesn't even look sad. He just looks a bit lost. In fact, what he looks like is he's thinking, "Oh shit, now I can't dump her."
Yeah, no, yeah. Definitely.
And then you get that contrast of all these women, and of course, remember, when she's crying on Christian's lap, she's in a little dingy, dark apartment, and it's just those two, and it's very it's like despair. But when she's with the girl, with other women, and they're holding her, and they are empathizing with her, like mirroring her pain, holding her in the bright, sunny, warm daylight, it's not surprising that she would buy into it. And because all that she has needed the whole time through the film, and I'm assuming that her relationship with her parents was, I mean, it was good, wasn't it? But at the same time, her sister had bipolar, and you could tell that that was difficult. That she probably just her whole life just wanted a bit of support. Yeah, that's the word. She wanted support, and she never got it until now.
Especially because it's coded that Terry is the older sister. But if you are the younger sibling of someone that's suffering with mental health issues, like you said, you lack that support from them as well. Like, you're meant to be able to look up to an older sibling for them to be able to teach you and to shelter you and give you comfort and support. They're your older sibling. They're meant to do that. The fact that she doesn't have that, and also I think you can read into it that maybe her parents' attention was taken away from her because you've got this person that's suffering. So
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because I know from personal experience, it's not exactly the same, but my brother was quite difficult when he was growing up. A lot of stuff went on. And it was always my mum was great, but I felt like her it was always focused on my brother.
Yeah.
I was left to do my own thing because I was chill-ish, and it was all about him, which is fine, whatever. But I think it can be read into in this, that because Terry, it was the way she was, that Danny has spent her whole life just being compliant, being quiet, letting things happen to her, searching for love in the wrong places, any sort of attention, any sort of a hope of support, which never came to fruition, it feels like. And then it's when Pele comes, starts talking to her, and he's the only person that's actually saying to her I'm really, because did you notice as well that every time that Pele tried to tell her how sorry he was and that he was there for her, she just be no, and run away, she didn't want to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's because that will just show you that as a character she is not used to being held. She's uncomfortable with it because she's never had it.
Yeah.
She's never, Christian has never once spoken to her like that, it feels like. Pele remembers her birthday. Christian doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't even light the fucking candle. I loved the bit where the wind blew the candle out before she could blow it.
Yeah.
Right at the end of the scene. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and also when they go to the party and then she finds out about the Sweden trip, and they come back and she's so manipulated by him. Because he says, I'm going to go. And she's like, no, stay. Because, I'm sorry. I'm the one that's sorry.
It's my fault.
Yeah. And it's so, she's craving for the support and the love from someone, that she's willing to just say that it's her fault and, don't worry about it. It's,
But I think seeing her complete desperation to please him and to be, what he wants and stuff, to then after an hour and a half, suddenly she's choosing him to die without blinking. It's yeah.
But you're right though, because it's Christian is such a frustrating character, and I think that's the point. But we don't even know what he wants in his in a girlfriend. Does he want this? This cult woman to be does he want someone like that? Someone who's obsessed with him.
Oh my god! Sorry, it just tickles me every time when they come back from the old people cliff ceremony, and she's like, are you not like, affected by what's just happened? And he's like, yes, it was really, really shocking. Like, well done, Christian. You tried to sound like a human being.
Yeah.
It was really shocking.
Do you know what? This time round watching it, like, I was also really annoyed with Josh. Not in terms of like I'm totally on his side with the whole Christian thing. Like, a friend stealing your thesis. I'm totally on his side. But like this time around, I was just. But maybe it's because I know like where it's going. But I was sort of like, oh, you're putting your foot in it every time, and you're poking your nose where it doesn't belong, and like everything he questions, like because he says to them about the incestuous stuff, like given like what's it, cross bloodlines and stuff like that. And the elder's just like, no, we try to keep that pure, like, and then he actually reveals to him like, like we get outsiders, we encourage outsiders. But like he just annoyed me this time around watching him because it's just I think it's like the journalistic curiosity of like it just put me on the edge, and I was just like, oh Josh, don't like step back a bit.
I thought something I really thought was quite funny and like uncomfortable was when he kept trying to say like, oh yes, I know this about your culture.
Oh yeah.
And then they'd be like, actually that's not actually right, and they'd be just putting him in his place over and over and over. Because he was so like pretentious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I know everything. And I think that is probably a bit of a comment on, like American mentality towards European, like, oh, we know everything, and actually they don't. And I'm not saying that Americans are all like that, obviously, but I think that is what the film is trying to say, because there's even a bit, isn't there, where when they first see the girls all dancing, and then Mark and Josh are like, oh, can we dance as well? And Pele makes some comment like, oh, well, you're Americans, just go and push yourself in like you always do.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, ooh. Like, yeah, I think there's definitely a bit of a little shakedown on Americans in it. Even though I think Ari Aster is American. But I think maybe just the difference in culture is like highlighting the difference in their culture, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm going to get on my soapbox a little bit for a second. Just because I read a very interesting comment, because when I was doing my research today, there's a few YouTube videos that I watched, and someone goes, "Oh yeah, it's a bit silly. Like you'd leave after the first like death, when they jump off the cliff and stuff."
What?
Yeah, but the film deals with that. Like the film tells you that like through Simon and Connie, they want to leave. Like it's not as easy as just leaving because there's this group of people that are sort of keeping you there. That's the whole point.
And they're persuasive.
Yeah.
They explain and they make it seem like it's a very, well, I mean, depending on your perspective, but they make it seem like it's a really normal thing. Because like it's the best, like it's the right thing.
Yeah, because Simon out of the two is the one that's sort of like, we're leaving. I've had enough. We're leaving. He's obviously dealt with quietly in the chicken shed before he can even attempt to go anywhere. And then you've got Connie, who's the more submissive of the two, and like they try and persuade her. But you can see that by saying, "Oh well, Simon left and he'll be back. The car will be back for you in half an hour. It takes half an hour and there's only 2 spaces." Like you can see that they're trying to persuade Connie to stay so that they can like offer later.
I love that shot, don't you? At the end when her hair's all like she's in the wheelbarrow and it zooms out. And then all the other wheelbarrows come in. Oh, I thought that was amazing. And really, like, and do you know what as well, something to talk about is the goriness of it. Because I feel like this Midsommar is actually a little bit more, well, maybe a bit more consistently gory than Hereditary. Hereditary's got like 2 main real gory bits. But in general, it's not hugely gory, I don't think. Whereas this is quite gory, I think. There's a lot of smashed in faces and broken legs and lungs being, do you know what I mean? And like, people being skinned and all sorts.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the fact that, like you said, it's all like done in broad daylight. And so it's so visceral and there in your face. Like, they don't conceal it in any way. It's like, especially when the woman jumps off and her face smacks off of the stone.
No, but I was going to say that's the kind of interesting point, isn't it? Is that it's in broad daylight because in their minds, they're not doing anything that needs to be concealed.
No.
This is something that they think is fine. So it doesn't need to be done in the dead of night. It can be done but to us it's like horrific.
And it's done in the, I mean, like, it's done in the secrecy of their commune. Like, you can sort of assume that there's no one around to see what they're doing. So you've got that as well. But you're right, to them they're not doing anything wrong. And these people that are outsiders are being drawn here for a reason. It's to be murdered. Apart from Danny, I think she's the only one. I think, like we mentioned earlier, she's the only one that's been drawn in as a possible outsider to join them.
The only thing that kind of bugs me a little bit about it and it's a really like, it might be a plot hole, or it might be just that I'm misunderstanding. But I thought that the ritual was done every 90 years. I swear they say that. But then Pele says that his parents died in a fire, which is, I've always kind of assumed to mean that they were the two volunteers in the last ceremony.
Oh, and that Pele was the surviving son,
and that he's he's not angry about it because he's like, oh, they chose to do that sort of thing, and I had my family anyway, sort of thing. So, but I'm not sure if I'm misunderstanding it a bit. I'm not sure if because I swear they said like, oh, every 90 years we have this like celebration and da, 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 da. And I've seen it on a few synopsises as well. And I'm just not sure. I think I need to look into it and see if I'm just what I'm misunderstanding. Because obviously, how could it be if if it was 90 years, his parents wouldn't have died in a fire like that, unless they just died in a fire and it's completely irrelevant.
Yeah, that's how I took it. I mean, I thought it was a bit more sinister in that, like, I thought Pele might have been taken out of an orphanage or something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I see what you mean.
That he was taken in by this group, and that's why he sort of like cherishes them. Orphanage, like it's a Victorian time. I don't mean orphanage. I mean the care system, because we're in Oliver Twist times. There's an orphanage, and they just come and take him.
Yeah, it says regarding Aster's comments, he has said that this Midsommar is a special festival that happens only every 90 years. That does not preclude the idea of similar festivals happening at similar intervals for other reasons. So obviously the Aster, I forget what it's called, Ataya or whatever, the cliff thing, would
only happens.
Well, no, because it happens when they turn 72, doesn't it?
That's what I mean. Yeah, it would only happen if there was someone in the group that turned 72, and then it all just tied in. If
it just tied in, I guess. But what's the But so does that mean that the? But then it still doesn't make sense if. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was your orphanage theory. I don't know. But
it seems interesting that he would put Pele's parents as burning, because then that would certainly put in your head that you like what you were thinking. I mean, I think as a writer, I would have just changed that to something else. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's more sinister. I think it might be the fact that he's been picked up as a child.
Yeah, quite possibly, and then lied to.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, like, I feel like a lot of the time when we watch films, when we're talking about them on the pod, it's like there's quite a lot to sort of unpack and sort of critique. Like, oh, I didn't understand this, didn't understand that, or
yeah,
you know, oh, I hate this character, da da da. But I actually don't have that much. I don't think I have a lot negative to say about Midsommar, to be honest. And I'm starting to wonder if I actually like it more than Hereditary.
I've always preferred Midsommar, but then I've only seen Hereditary once. So, but I think I need to watch it all because, like, there's always videos about people saying, "Oh, there's secret cultists in the background" and that sort of thing.
It's Hereditary it's very shocking, but I think it's a little more. It's not as sort of deep. No, that's not true. It is as deep psychologically, but I don't know. I think the thing, like we said, I think the thing that's cool about Midsommar is that it's like I think the characters are a bit more fleshed out.
I think it's more accessible, Midsummer. Like, I think we've been trained to know about cults, and like, so we know about cults. So like, even before you go into the film, you're predisposed to know that like they're going into a cult situation, so therefore it's going to be dangerous. Whereas with Hereditary, like, it's the kind of twist at the end is the thing that you have to then sort of go back and figure out throughout the film, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think what it is for me is that Hereditary is a lot more. I'm not saying this as a slight, because I really, really like it and it does scare me, but it's a bit more of a jump scare horror movie. It's more shocking, like moments, like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. Whereas I think Midsommar has slightly more of an edge in terms of the dread aspect, the uncomfortable aspect, because even though Hereditary does make you feel uncomfortable, I wouldn't say it makes you feel as uncomfortable as this.
No, I agree.
It's not. Yeah, it's just. I think it's got a bit of a different vibe, really.
I would need to watch Hereditary again, but especially for the fun of it, to see the little Easter eggs that he puts in as well. I mean, I can't believe I didn't spot it at the beginning, but then I wouldn't have known, would I? But the bit where she's grieving on the bed and there's that big picture above her of the bear with the little girl with a crown on.
Oh yeah. Well, you wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that in Aster stuff. Like when you sort of watch video essays and read about it and stuff, you see a lot of what's the word, foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
Sorry, whenever there's like foreshadowing in a film, Dan always goes, "Oh, it's very foreboding," and I go, "It's not foreboding, it's foreshadowing." You himbo. I love him. He is funny.
I like that though, because it sounds very like dramatic. Foreboding.
Well, in fairness, I did say to him, it kind of does make sense, because foreshadowing does tend to be foreboding. Right?
Yeah.
Like, foreshadowing tends to be a bad thing generally.
Yeah.
In film.
Yeah, it's true.
So he's kind of not wrong, but it's just the wrong word he was trying to use.
All right, before we go, we just need to come to our consensus of if it's underrated, overrated, or just rated.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed it a little bit when we were comparing it to Hereditary. For me, it's given that Ari Aster made a massive splash in the horror community with Hereditary, and actually I think the cinematic universe anyway, really. So I think he followed that up with something that is just as rated, because I think a lot of people went to go see Midsommar just on name alone because of it's Ari Aster.
Honestly, I think it's a bit under. I don't think a lot of people have seen it.
Oh, do you think?
No, I don't. Well, I suppose it depends on who you sort of talk to, doesn't it? Like, what sort of communities you. Because I think if I was to ask any of my friends who aren't really into film, they might have say, "Oh yeah, I've seen Hereditary, but I haven't seen Midsommar." Or I think because it is quite slow paced, a lot of people might turn it off. I don't know, but I wouldn't say that there's as much hype around Midsommar, which is strange to me, because to me it's the more striking of the two films.
Do you know what? You might be right, because a lot of people were turned off by Hereditary because of how slow it is. So they might not have wanted to go see the second film from Ari Aster, because they'd be like, "Oh, well, the first one was slow, so the second one's going to be even slower."
Yeah, and I think in fairness as well, I think marketing does a lot. Like, I think the fact that it is set in the daytime, and the trailer probably features most of the scenes in the daytime, I imagine some people would just go, "Oh, doesn't really look like a horror film. I don't really like." So even some horror fans might be a bit turned off by it. In the same way as what's the Jordan Peele one that's set in the day a lot?
Us?
No. Nope.
Oh yeah.
That one's in the day a lot, isn't it? Pretty much all in the day. And I think a lot of people find that a bit of a, it's not really, because we are creatures of habit, aren't we? We're used to what we're used to. I mean, most of the kills in Scream are at night time.
Yeah.
Most of them, not all of them. And I think it is just kind of a trope of horror and that's what makes Midsommar so interesting, because it's a complete flip. It's in this lovely, bright, beautiful, floral place where everyone's wearing white. All of the kind of iconography of a normal horror film is like completely gone.
Yeah, it's true.
There's no shadowy bits. There's no massive jump scares. There's no. Do you know what I mean? It's all very, and even the bad characters aren't kind of like they have a subtle villainy, don't they? They're not like, even Christian. So to my point earlier about him not being that bad in Bunny is that he's ignorant and he's selfish and he's but all of them are this kind of almost like limp, like I said, like a cowardly villain, like just kind of like, oh, these are the sort of people that you know in real life that you just sort of go ugh whatever to.
No, you've convinced me. I think you're right, because
No, don't leave. It's my fault. You're right.
yeah.
I'm abusing you.
Yeah. Anyway, so with our next month, we will be watching X. So we've got another horror film to watch.
We're very horror-y at the minute, aren't we? Even Coco was a bit horror-y.
Yeah, well, you know, it was so funny because like this deals with like family trauma. Then we've already talking about Coco as family trauma.
I think we need to go to therapy, Mitch.
Yeah, I think X deals with family trauma. So I think we're repressing something.
I think we are. I think we need to go to therapy. Well, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that, and I was happy to pay the £3.49 that I dished out to watch it.
Yeah, for people who are listening to this quite soon after we've posted it, I'm afraid you might have to buy the film because I couldn't find it anywhere, and I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe we should pick films that we know are available on streaming rather than just going, that one would be fun.
But I don't know if X is available on streaming. Too late. We're watching it, so you just have to cope with it.
Well, it's too late now. It's too late.
You've been listening to Reely Rated, a movie review podcast.
If you've enjoyed this episode, why not dive into our archives and catch up on the movie reviews you might have missed?
And have your say by sending your own thoughts and questions of the films we've discussed so far to reelyrated@gmail.com.
Until next time, film fans.
Keep it really rated.